Happy Sunday out there, Vol Nation. This is Frank. This is the House of Orange Sports Channel coming at you. I've thought about it a lot. I've slept on it. This is Tennessee versus Florida the next day. Make sure you hit that like, that share, that subscribe as well, as we hit 2,900 subscribers overnight. Thank you guys so much for the support. It's greatly appreciated. Along the way, thank you for sticking this thing out with me as, we've got a lot of stuff coming with baseball less than 2 weeks away right now. But let's talk about this game yesterday. And, cannot stress this enough how proud I am of the fight of that team. Shorthanded, 7 scholarship players, and they come out yesterday and especially that second half and drilled Florida. They drilled them the second half. I saw a lot of the players saying that they'd seen videos, they'd seen stuff from the first game. They didn't forget it. And I'm glad they didn't. Sometimes that shows me a lot that, there's teams before in Tennessee that I thought could really care less if they win or lose. These guys, though, they care, and I liked it. So 3 things I want to talk about. I want to talk about the game, some recruits that were on campus, and then what the road ahead is. So the game in general, to me, I don't know if I can single out one guy who was the player of the game. I thought all 7 guys were big in their contributions yesterday. Chaz had 19 points. He was, the leading scorer. What I liked with him was late in the game, he started driving the ball. He drew a foul driving in, was 2 for 2 from the free throw line, and then he drove in, got a dunk. I would like to see more of that from him instead of just 3-pointers and mid-range pull-up jumpers. He has the game to drive and do it. I would like to see a little more aggression from him. Jordan Gainey, I thought, did a phenomenal job running the show yesterday. And to me, that's the most fluid that offense has looked in a while. And there was not a lot of dribbling around. And I say that because I love Zakai Ziegler. He's an excellent floor general and all. There are times there's too much dribbling going on. And we didn't see those times where it was going down to the shot clock very often because of dribbling. They were moving the ball and getting things happen. They were working inside out. And I kind of wondered how that would work because the first meeting, Florida drilled them on the boards and owned the inside. But, Para had some success in that first meeting. But the way Tennessee moved the ball around, it showed too, especially in that second half. They shot just under 52% from field goal. They shot 44% from three-point. They got to the free throw line 6 times and hit all 6 of them. And they won the rebounding battle 40-37. Based on how bad they got beat the first time, and then you're without your leading rebounder yesterday, hats off this team, man. They had a game plan. Rick Barnes, I'd seen when on Friday, he said that in their final huddle at midcourt, Jemai Mashak stepped up and said, "We've got what we need right here to get it done." And yeah, they did. And speaking of Mashak, he was all over the place doing it all. He had what led to one of the plays of the year to me. Had the steal, saved it out of bounds to Cade Phillips. Cade Phillips hit Jordan Gainey. The Florida guy stopped. Cade Phillips did not. Gainey went down, hit Phillips for the jam, brought the roof off of Thompson Bowling Arena, the Food City Center yesterday. And the other sequence I thought was big was in the first half, and I thought Tennessee never looked back from this. Florida worked the ball inside. Akpara got the block. The ball ended up loose back to Florida. They threw it in. I swear I really thought Chaz got the block on that, but it must have been, I can't remember if Dubar was in. It was either Mashak or Dubar who got the block then. They go the other way. Chaz hits that 3, and they never seem to look back. And that got Chaz going too. He got on that streak that he gets on after that. It was a good bounce back for him. It was a game that I think everybody needed. And Akpara, he had, I think, the 1 block going into the second half, 10 points, 8 boards, another block on the game. He was very good the second half, and he was getting position, that little hook. That's what we need out of him. I liked it. I liked what he did there. Dubar played 25 minutes. He just had 4 points. He had 5 boards, 3 assists. I thought he did a lot of good things. Cade Phillips, 7 points, 3 boards. He was active, making things happen as well. And Boswell in 11 minutes, I thought he did good things. Now, again, I'm not going to mince words. I have concerns about his offense, but there's numerous guys on this. He's a Rick Barnes type guy, it looks like. Maybe not the best offensively, but I thought he did his job. He had a couple rebounds, a few assists. He had, let's see, let me get back to him here. 3 assists. He had 1 careless turnover, but other than that, I thought he took pretty good care of the ball. He had 1 steal. He did good in his 11 minutes. And, hopefully he's a guy, unlike some of these others, that he'll stick around, that he'll take the coaching, he'll put in the work. Like a Cade Phillips, we see the jump from him from last year to this year. We see how much Jordan Gainey has gotten better from last year to this year. Yeah, Rick Barnes coaches hard. He's old school. That's his style. But if you stick around, we've seen guys get better under Rick Barnes. I mean, it's been continuously. I don't know if there's been some guys I felt like hit walls along the way, but we do see progression too out of guys. And I chose yesterday not to mention Cam Carr because I've seen numerous people saying, well, about Cam Carr, it's been a game for him. I didn't mention him because I want to focus on the 7 guys who got out there and busted their asses yesterday and drilled Florida. I don't want to focus on the guy who couldn't handle it and packed his bags and hit the road. That's all I need to say about him. The focus is on those 7 guys who bounced back and after a tough couple games, that tough loss against Auburn and then the Kentucky one the other night. I don't know if that was a hangover game or what you would call it. Kentucky shot the lights out on it, but as you see in SEC play, anything can happen because Arkansas went up and beat Kentucky on the road last night. Now I think that was a little differently because obviously you had Calipari going back to Rupp. And hats off to his players. They wanted that game for him. And I respect that. I got a lot of respect for that. And they really wanted that one, and they were barking. Like, I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. I definitely don't think Kentucky's a better team than Tennessee. And Tennessee gets a chance for redemption on Tuesday night, the 11th, and hopefully they'll take care of business there. But just a really good game, and I think it was a good show too. You had at least a couple visitors in town. Chance Mallory, number 54 point guard for 2025, was in town. Official visit. I think Tennessee has a real good shot to get him. I don't know how soon, but it seems like they're really in the thick of that one based on everything I'm reading. And then they had 4-star small forward Manny Green out of Georgia. He's 2026. He was on campus. But Tennessee's had numerous guys. You had Collins. I can't remember the first name. I know his brother was Yuri Collins. He was on campus a few weeks ago. I've not heard anything else on him right now. You had Braden Burries out of California, 5-star. You had Nate Ament, who was at the Kentucky game. These are all 2025 guys. If Tennessee could get 2 to 3 of those guys, that makes next year look a whole lot better for sure. And but that was a good environment, a good game for those guys to see yesterday. Now, what's ahead for Tennessee? It's getting no easier Wednesday night when Missouri comes to town. Missouri's 6-2 in conference. They just went on the road to Mississippi State yesterday and won 88-61. And just to show you the conference, Missouri, of course, lost at Auburn, 84-68. No shame in that. And they lost at Texas. Texas doesn't look very good, even though Texas drilled LSU on the road. But LSU has 1 win in conference. The only one worse is South Carolina with no wins in conference. And thank goodness South Carolina has women's basketball because they don't have much else. And I love every bit of it. But in this conference too, I mean, you've got Tennessee's Missouri Wednesday night. They're at Oklahoma next Saturday, which looked like not too bad. But Oklahoma beat Vandy by 30 yesterday. And we know what Vanderbilt's been doing at home. But going on the road with that, looking at Tennessee's schedule, I really think there's 7 to 8 more wins there. And I'm counting Alabama in Knoxville. I don't expect Tennessee to lose at home. I don't care who they play. I do not expect Tennessee to lose at home, and I fully expect them to beat Alabama when they come to town. Now, could I be wrong? Absolutely on it. But Tennessee does not lose very often at home, and definitely not a couple times in the season. And yesterday, what was it? It said that they have – is it 6 wins in a row against, was it top 5, top 10 teams at home? That's the longest streak there is right now. And there's a good chance Alabama will be up there too when they come in. But the road, I think it's a tough schedule left, but it's manageable. I really do. I mean, because I look at that schedule, you have coming up. Of course, Missouri, you got to bring it Wednesday night. That will be tough. At Oklahoma, at Kentucky, Vanderbilt at home. That's over the next 2 weeks. You're off. You've got that midweek bye after Vanderbilt, and then you go to Texas A&M. That could be the toughest game left on the schedule, possibly at Texas A&M. We know how that went last year, too. You're at LSU, Alabama at home, at Ole Miss, and then South Carolina at home to conclude the season. Every one of those games is winnable the rest of the way. Is it realistic to expect them to run the table? I don't know that it is, just based on how tough it is to win on the road. But this team's still got a real good chance, I think, to be at least a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. Could they get to a 1? I think it would depend. I mean, we've seen the last couple of years, obviously, that the SEC tournament does not affect seeding, because when Tennessee won it a few years ago, they didn't move up any. They didn't move up at all in what looked like they would go up. And the committee totally negated, didn't even factor it in. So why even put effort into the SEC tournament? There's no point. There's no point at it. But yesterday, hopefully, rejuvenated this team. It showed this team what they can do when the ball's moving and they're not just dribbling around. And we'll see. I haven't seen anything yet where it says whether Ziegler will be back Wednesday or not. It said there's no structural damage in his knee, so I would think he's day-to-day. You got to think Milicic is probably back because he was battling the flu yesterday, so hopefully he gets better soon. But real good day on Rocky Top, really good day for the Vols. And last but not least on here, guys, have a great day. And never underestimate the power of the orange and the tea.